In this video, I'm drawing Will Byers from Stranger Things, specifically that powerful scene from the final season where he uses his powers for the very first time. It was such an emotional and unforgettable moment, and I knew I had to capture it on paper. I'm beginning with a pencil sketch, focusing on getting Will's proportions and overall structure right. This stage is all about laying a solid foundation. I'm not worrying about details just yet. I'm paying close attention to his facial expression here because that's what makes this scene so powerful. The intensity in his eyes, the tension in his face. These are the things I want to capture from the very beginning. I keep adjusting the placement of the features until everything feels balanced. Small corrections at this stage make a huge difference later on. Now that the basic structure is in place, I'm moving on to fine liners to start defining the details. This is where the drawing really starts to come together. I'm carefully outlining the key features, the eyes, the nose, the shape of the face, making everything sharper and more defined. I love this stage because you can really see the character emerging from the sketch. Line by line, Will is starting to come to life on the paper. I'm using different line weights here, thicker lines for the outer edges, thinner ones for the subtle details. This helps create depth and guides the viewer's eye to the most important parts of the drawing. Alright, now comes my favorite part, watercolor. I'm starting with light, transparent washes to establish the base colors. At this stage, patience is key. I'm building up the colors slowly, layer by layer, letting each one dry before adding the next. This gives me full control over the values and keeps the colors clean and vibrant. I'm keeping the light source in mind as I work, leaving the highlighted areas untouched for now. These will become important later when we add the final details. You can already see the mood of the scene starting to develop. That intense, emotional atmosphere from the show is beginning to show through. Now we're in the final stage, and this is where the magic really happens. I'm going back in with both fine liners and watercolors to add all the finishing details. I'm deepening the shadows to create stronger contrast. This is what makes the drawing pop and gives it that three-dimensional quality. The darkest values are so important for bringing the forms forward. I'm using fine liners to add harsh, dramatic shadows, almost like a comic book style technique. This creates that bold, striking look and really adds intensity to the piece. I'm building up the shadows layer by layer, adding more lines where I want the darkest values. The key is knowing when to stop. You want that dramatic contrast, but you don't want to lose the highlights. This style takes patience because every line matters. You have to be deliberate with your strokes. Once the ink is down, there's no going back, but that's also what makes it exciting. I'm focusing on the areas where the shadows are strongest. Under the chin, around the eyes, along the edges of the face. Each line I add increases the contrast and brings more power to the image. As I work through this section, you can really see the transformation happening. The drawing goes from soft and subtle to bold and striking. That intensity in Will's expression is becoming more and more powerful with every line. This technique, inspired by comic books, is perfect for capturing such a dramatic scene. He will use his powers for the first time. This scene deserves an epic and cinematic look. Now, moving on to watercolor again, I'm adding the light details on his arm, refining the hair tones, and applying the final watercolor touches to his face. These subtle additions bring so much life to the drawing. And finally, I'm going back in with fine liners for the last refinements on his face. Small details, sharp lines, just perfecting everything. Stepping back and looking at the finished drawing, I'm really happy with how it turned out. That powerful moment where Will finally uses his abilities, I hope I managed to capture even a fraction of that emotion. Thank you so much for spending these 8 minutes with me. If you enjoyed watching the drawing come to life, liking and subscribing means a lot to me. I hope you found this process both useful and fun. See you in the next video. Take care.